Dakota for just that reason, community. And they're saying over and over again, the connections we have in North Dakota, we hear wonderful things about you as a state getting things done for business. We hear wonderful things about your regulatory environment as a business. We hear wonderful things about what incentives you have to move into the state. And mostly we love your communities and how you're set up. So there's a lot of those conversations happening. What we've been doing as they call us is we talk to them about what they're looking for, what their needs are, what infrastructure do they need, and looking at where in the state could be a good match, and connecting them with the local developers to help us tell the story, to tell your story of your community, because that's ultimately what they're looking for. So we've had biotech companies contacting us, we've had UAS companies contacting us. I had a data company contact us the other day, a scientific company that does production. So there's a lot of opportunity there. We are actually actively putting together incentives packages to put alongside Minnesota and South Dakota, which there's some of them are wanting to go to South Dakota, and really trying to make our state competitive, because we are, alongside those other states that they're looking at as an opportunity. So that's really exciting for us, and we're actually starting to talk now about going and making some visits in some of these industries into Minnesota and finding out what the needs are, and even if it's not about them moving, but as a partner, as a next door neighbor to Minnesota, those businesses often want to set up satellite offices. So it's a great opportunity for us to capitalize on that as well, even if they don't want to move their full operations. So it's an exciting time of growth for us. And again, that growth and that interest in us is because of our community and what the nation sees of us as a state. And so that's really exciting, and that comes back to you.
Yeah, so as you're working with your local developers or your business itself, and you see that tweak, that opportunity, that growth, let your local developer know, call us at Commerce, however you best can communicate, because we may know somebody or we may know an opportunity that might be coming down, and that's the biggest thing that I think I want to do, is make sure that we're connected. We can't do it in a silo. We can't do it east versus west. We can't do it as one location. We have to work together, because everybody's coming out of the pandemic pretty much equal. Well, that doesn't mean that we can't be first out of the chute, and everybody that's up here is talking about all of the new and innovative things that we're doing. One of the things that Daniel talked about is training our own a little bit. And some of that I'm going to pass over to our workforce director, Katie, to talk a little bit about what's coming down in terms of CTE centers, how workforce is going to work collaboratively with other parts of the state, along with universities. What's next for training our own in terms of the Workforce Development Council?
Sure. Well, thank you. So I'll touch first on the CTE centers. This is a huge win for the state. This is something that the Workforce Development Council has been behind for several years, and the type of education and training that happens within a career and technical education center is above and beyond what many high schools in the state are able to offer within their walls. Now, I don't want it to sound like every state or every school doesn't have career and technical education, because they do. Every school district in North Dakota offers CTE courses. But what happens in a career and technical education center is these students have access to advanced instruction through subject matter experts. The instructors that typically work in a CTE center have been working with the subject matter for a really long time, and they're not typically going to be within a high school. So they're working with students who want to take levels 2, 3, and 4 of a certain class, let's say welding or some kind of construction class. They're able to advance their skills. And so now, with what passed just last week in the legislature, we have funding that will be applied through a matching grant program that will be facilitated through the North Dakota Department of Career and Technical Education. A certain allotment of that fund will be reserved for new programs and facilities, and then another smaller portion will be utilized for those career and technical centers that are already existing and maybe need to make some expansions or revisions to their programs or facility. And if I remember correctly, the smallest amount that a district or a consortium of districts could apply for is $500,000, and the max is $10 million. So the state is really investing heavily in this opportunity for our students, which will help create the pipeline of workers that we need to fill the jobs that we have in North Dakota. Over 60% of the jobs that we have in the state are skilled labor jobs. You don't need a 4-year degree to be successful in these roles, and half of the jobs that are available right now fall within that category. And so the type of training that students will get at the CTE centers will be huge for helping us fill those jobs and provide a match of skill sets with what's available in the state. You know, I was just in Watford City yesterday and heard some business owners there talk about how they really need truck drivers. And one company had 20 applicants, and not a single one had experience in truck driving, and they didn't have the credentials to be able to do that. And so we're seeing that there's a gap in skills. There's interest, but they need the training in order to fill those jobs. Another thing that's coming down the pike is the resurgence of a program that we started at Commerce with federal funds last fall. It's called the Technical Skills Training Grant, and with $1 million in matching funds last fall, we were able to fund 12 different skilled workforce training programs ranging from welding to CDL, IT development, nursing assistant, and all of those programs are sustainable, and they are continuing to train workers across the state. Our aim at that point was for those who had been displaced due to the pandemic, but now we're able to open that up a little bit more and realize that some people, yes, have been displaced, and they still need to pursue skill development to take on a new job. But then there are those who want to move within the workforce. They want a job change. And then we have students who are wanting to expedite their path to work after graduation, and they'll be able to do that through these programs. We now have a second allotment of $1 million that will apply through a very similar matching grant program for new programs to develop or those who are existing and want to expand their reach or diversify the type of training they're providing. So we're really excited about the opportunity that we have to really establish this program because it's proven to be successful in a very short amount of time, and we're really excited to see what we'll be able to do throughout the next several months with that. The one catch with that program is that it's again funded with federal funds that have to be used by the end of this calendar year. So it'll be a sprint to the finish to build these programs rapidly, just like we did the first time, and hopefully get people back to work very quickly.
Thanks, Katie. I want to take this, what time are we supposed to be done before I get too carried away here? In 10 minutes. Okay, perfect timing. Thank you. Questions? Anything from the audience that we can answer regarding commerce, the future of commerce as far as we know it, the future of the state? Don't be shy. Yes, sir.
Katie, is there any sort of CTE being done in North Dakota as far as the hospitality industry?
As CTE in the hospitality industry, you know, I don't know specifically. I would say that might come down to the local level as far as what different school districts are providing. So I don't have a great answer on that. However, within our technical colleges, we do have, you know, courses for and programs for, you know, culinary focused students. And then we're also doing some of that training within the Job Corps Center in Minot. But as far as what's happening within the high school level and specific programs, that'll all vary based on the school district. So that's not a great answer. Sorry.
On when it comes to hospitality industry, Devil's Lake has a great example of a tuition repayment program, and I don't know if there's anybody over here on the western part of the state that has started this or not, but actually one of their biggest participants happens to be people in the hospitality industry, where they repay up to 2 years of college, and it's to local people. So you have this student that is from the Devil's Lake region, and they say, well, you went off and got a certificate or an 18-month program. They help repay those to come back to Devil's Lake. 2 reasons. One is you want to live there. The second is you probably have housing if you have a parent or a friend to live with right away, so you don't have that struggle, because we all know housing, no matter where you are in the state, is a struggle. And the third is then that it grows, there's a commitment to that region because they're from that region. And so it's a partnership between local development and the business itself. It's become a very, very good program for them. And there's several